Survivor from Scrappy Mania, and today I have a real quick project. It's actually part 2 of one of my videos in where I showed you how you can take one of Jamie Dougherty's stencil and you can put it on a piece of fabric and you can color her in with fabric paint, and I wanted to use that panel for a taupe. So what I did is I took some extra, because it was kind of short. I mean, I had this extra piece of cotton lying around, and it was a perfect size for my doll. But it was too short for a taupe, so I went ahead and put an extra inch. So this part here measures about, it was like 6.5. What I did is I went ahead and sewed it and also top stitch it. Plus I did a zigzag stitch here so that way it wouldn't unravel. And the whole panel now is 14 by 15.25, perfect size for a bag. This is going to be one of my mother-in-law gifts for Christmas. So I'm starting to make Christmas presents. So that's one of her presents. This is the same thing I did. This is like 6.5 inches, and the white panel was 13 by 10.25. So this was 10.25 by 13, and I just put this extra piece underneath. Okay, and then what I did is I went ahead and cut 2 panels, and this measures 13 3/4 by 14 and almost 3/4. You guesstimate kind of. So I did the same thing with this one, and I put some batting because I wanted to make it a little stiff. Because this fabric here is very weak. I mean, it's very thin. So I wanted to give it a little stability, so that's why I went ahead and did that. Okay. And I'm going to have to trim this down. So I'm going to go ahead and trim this down to the side of my panel. So this is 13.5 by 14 3/4. So 13.5. So I need to cut it right there. And then, so I'm going to cut this out later. And then I have 2 of these strips. I'm going to use this for this taupe. This is from a recycle bag that I got at Goodwill. So I'm going to use that. And then I'm going to use these to put around here and fit it on top. These are going to be my pocket. Now this measures, it was 14 by 6. I know it was 6, so 14 by 6. And I am going to place these here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to sew along the panel. I'm going to go ahead and fold that in. And I'm going to put it here so that way I can make little pockets. I'm also going to go ahead and make little pockets so that I can put like a cell phone or a purse or whatever. So I'll do that in a second. And then I am going to use this bit for the top. And I think I like the combination black, polka dots, pink. It's gonna look nice. And then I got a new sewing machine, and it embroiders, so I went ahead and embroidered love there on my little heart. So let me go over to my iron. I'm gonna iron like a 1/4 inch in, and then I'm gonna zigzag the ends, and then we'll pin it onto, and I'll cut this and I shall be. Okay, so I went ahead and stitched on top, on the bottom, put my panels where I think they're gonna look good. I'm gonna go ahead and stitch the bottom here, and I'm gonna stitch in the middle. Gonna make 2 pockets here. And this one, you know, you can fit a key or anything like that. And this one I'm going to make a pocket in the middle. So, and actually this one will fit an iPad or a cell phone or anything like that. So I'm going to take this over to the sewing machine and I'm going to sew that. And then I'm going to go ahead and sew this together. And I'm going to sew this as well. I'm going to sew it together. This here and here. Okay. And you're just going to do straight stitch. So I shall be back. Okay, so I went ahead and stitched all 3 sizes. And then what I did is I match up the seam. And then from the tip down, I measured 1 inch, and I just marked it and sewed across. And I did the same thing on the other side. And then now, we're going to go ahead and play. And I did the same thing on the other bag. So now I'm just going to put my bags together. So you're going to put the wrong sides together. And just ease it in. And what you really need to make sure is that these match up. These lines match up. I'm going to probably need to actually bring this in more. So I think this is still a little too big by the time I finished. See? So I'm going to have to adjust this. Oh well, so let me go ahead and adjust this and then we'll bring it back to my project. Okay, so this is how far I've gone with my bag. I went ahead and put it inside out. I had to fix this, so I made the inside lining a little too big, so I had to go back, cut out a little more, and then re-sew it. And, you know, I'm not really a real good, an average seamstress. I'm not a professional or anything like that, so sometimes I make mistake. But so that's what I did. I went back, cut it, and then redid it. And I also took some fabric, and this is a 3.5 inch, and I just about 1/2 inch in on each side. So basically this is 2.5 inches, so 1/2 inch. So I folded 1/2 inch on each side, and then I folded in half, and I took it to my iron and made like a seam binding. But this is not really seam binding. It's more because a seam binding, you have to cut the fabric on an angle, and then you put them together. I didn't do that. I just cut a strip, you know, folded in half, 1 inch in on each side, and then folded in half. And that's good enough for this. So I put that on top. And then now I'm ready to put the handle. So what I did is, this one is also the same like this, but then I went ahead and folded it like that and went zigzag around it, as you can see there. Okay. So I need to figure out where I want to put this. So the best way is to measure. So let's measure maybe 1.5 inches from each side. That look about even. Let's make sure, because once you sew this thing in, it's pretty hard to undo. So then we're going to put this on top. So I am going to sew so maybe let me cut 3 inches. Well, actually, let's do 4 inches. And you're gonna put it here. Actually, it's a little too big. So 4 inches is too big. Let's do 3 inches. Yep, 3 inches. Let's do 3 inches on each. So I need 4 of these. And the best thing to do is I'm going to go ahead and get some needle and thread and baste it here, because we really want to make sure that we do it right. So I'm just going to guesstimate here. Guesstimate here. Okay. So make sure that you go ahead and this is not twisted like that. So you got to make sure that it lies flat. And what I'm doing, I'm just making sure that I get it out. Ouch, 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 right there. And then let me do the other side, and I'm taking to the sewing machine, and I shall be back. So here's my completed project. I put the straps on. Okay. That was a little bit of chore putting those on, but I put the straps on. I put the taupe all together, and it looks good. I might just, I might hand sew this here. So this, I mean, it's not perfect. I still have to kind of fix it a little bit inside. But other than that, this is my taupe. So I hope you like this video and get another idea of how you can use Jamie Dougherty's stencils and how you can make little gifts for the holidays. So thank you for watching. Bye now.